Hey, this is my first video diary that I am starting to share here. So a little bit about me. Hi, my name is Jessica Butchie. I am currently on, I got married in August of 2014. No, that's wrong. I got married. Who else does that? Because I do that. My husband knows the dates. August 14th, 2015, we got married. And so we are coming up, today is June 13th of 2017. So in August, just a couple months away, we'll be coming up on 2 years of trying to conceive for a baby Butchie. So I needed to come on here and share my heart and my journey because I want people and I want you to know that you're not alone, and that people just like you all over the world are experiencing infertility. And even though we have our own journeys that we go on every single day, there's still this connection that I feel towards somebody, and that I'm sure you do too, when you talk to somebody with infertility, just like you have. The road and the journey can feel lonely, and I know this, and so my heart and my passion is just to share what I've tried, the weird things that I've tried, that have led me to where we are today in the journey. I don't have all the answers, and I am open to learning new things about my body and about myself as a person, my personality traits, my everything, right? I have, and I'm willing to do the dirty work to be the best me that I can be. And I think this outlet of videos is just one of those ways that I can be the best person I can be if I share with you. So just to share quickly a little bit about me, I come from a small town in Minnesota. I always thought that you just have unprotected sex and you get pregnant, right? And so I have wanted to be a mom since I was young. Like, I feel like when I was 6 or 8, like I knew, like I just have always wanted to be a mom no matter what. And so when we got married, we knew we wanted to try right away. And here we are 2 years later, and no baby. So I just want to start in with what happened today. Today's, like I said, June 13th. We went and saw a doctor, a reproductive health specialist at the Midwest Clinic for Reproductive Health, which is in Maple Grove, Minnesota. And what led me to this office was I started to read a book called When the Cradle is Empty, I believe. Yes, When the Cradle, I have it here. When the Cradle is Empty, Answering Tough Questions About Infertility. So what led me to this book, though, was Brad, my husband, and I found an infertility support group in our area. And we went to one of the first meeting sessions there, and they just gave us this book. And so a little bit of backstory. I won't go into all the details of my backstory, but a little bit of a backstory is I've kind of pushed off doing all of the quote-unquote Western medical things. And I also feel like I've thrown myself into working a ton. I'm a doula and a nanny and a homemaker, and I find things to keep myself busy constantly. So I think I've never allowed myself to just think about infertility unless I'm forced to, right? Like, I don't sit every day and think about it like I know some people do, and that's just where they're at. But when I'm forced to think about it, I tend to just bawl my eyes out, right? And so that's kind of what happened when we went to this first infertility support group, and everybody's stories were so heartbreaking, including mine. And so what I was getting at is when I'm in those situations, when I'm forced to think about that I do have infertility, like we as a couple are going through infertility, that word alone is like so daunting. And so I often cry. And so I think as a coping mechanism, I suppress that and I work a ton and I don't think about it, and I surround myself with people and other babies and families that I can help because I haven't been able to help myself yet, right? So I started reading that book. I think we went to the support group maybe a month ago, and I was like, I feel emotionally ready. Like I need to do something different than what we've been doing. And maybe in other videos, well, I know that I will get into some of what we have been doing up until this point, but I just have this urge and this need and this desire in my belly to just share in the moment. So in reading this book, it talked about finding the right doctor. And my first instinct would be to just go find an OB and go see the OB. And this book really lit a fire under my butt to find somebody who really specializes in reproductive health. OBs are great, but they're great at specifically pregnant women, helping pregnant women. I guess I don't know all the things that they do, but a reproductive health specialist, as this book talks about, and I can leave all of this info in the comments below. It's written by John and Sylvia Van Regenmorter. I probably totally botched that, but they're a Christian couple who wrote this book. And I think I'm on like chapter 5, but these guys really lit a fire underneath my butt to really find somebody that specializes in reproductive health, especially to not waste time, A, and B, because we have been on this journey for already almost 2 years. I know that I needed to go find somebody who had more than just a base knowledge of infertility. I needed somebody that has researched it and has dedicated their life practice to helping families grow and add to their family. So I did some Google researching of doctors in my area who specialized in reproductive health. And I came up with three different centers. One was in Woodbury, Minnesota. One was in St. Paul. And this one was in Maplewood that I had found. And the Midwest Center for Reproductive Health was the first one that called me back, and I made an appointment. I also did some Google research on like reviews of the doctor, and overall the doctor had great reviews. So up until this point, we have done mostly natural, I guess you could say, non-traditional methods of trying to conceive. To briefly touch on some of those, we as a couple have done acupuncture, which I still do. I have done vaginal steaming. I have done Maya abdominal massaging. I have done castor oil packs. I have done multivitamins. I have done all of the things to try to heal my body from the inside out, right? So back to today. Because I have worked so much, I have finally had a time, I'm in a space in my journey and my life where I have a lot of downtime. I recently ended one of my jobs, and so I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos about large families, and I think that just made me even more want a family now. Like, I just want a family now. And if you are going through infertility, you can probably relate to that. Like, you just want to be pregnant, and you just want to be pregnant now. Like, you just want to have 10 kids now, right? Maybe y'all don't want to have 10 kids, but so because of this book and because of other people that I follow on YouTube, it just really, I felt emotionally ready to go see a specialist. And I think that that's such an important space to be in, because if I were to have forced myself to go see a specialist even a month ago or 2 months ago when I wasn't ready, I wouldn't have been able to hear or process through the way I processed through what the doctor told us today. And so I think God works just the way he's supposed to work, and his timing is perfect. And he gave us this doctor and this book and these people in our lives at just the right time for who knows what to happen, right? You're along on this ride with me, just, hearing it firsthand too. So anyway, so we went and saw the doctor. They gave us a stack of paperwork today. My mind was, I sat there listening to him talk about the reproductive organs and how everything works, and semen and lubrication and all of this stuff. And my husband and I left, and we were just silent in the car because we were just information overload, right? So I have to do more research on everything he was talking about, but because we had done some initial testing that I had faxed over the tests from other clinics to that office, they were able to look at our charts and kind of put some pieces together of the puzzle. The doctor wanted me to get checked, which I'm so grateful for, because sometimes I feel like you go to the doctor and then you got to make another appointment. It's kind of like going to court. You go to court, well, they push it back. At least that's what I've heard. I've never really had to be in a court situation. But anyways, you have to make other appointments, and they can't do it right then and there. And then you have to go back. And this clinic is a good 50 minutes from our home. So I'm glad that they were able to do. So he was talking about all this stuff that I barely remember any of what he was talking about. But what I do remember is he said, "I think you have PCOS." But as I've been reading, you have to have 2 out of the 3 major symptoms to confirm whether you do have PCOS or not. So I have struggled with awful acne since puberty. Well, since even before then, since I started. So I think I got my period. I was asking my mom. I think I started my period when I was probably 8. I think I was super young, 8, but then it probably didn't become regular until probably 10. But I was super young when I started my period. But since then, I've always dealt with acne. I've always been a heavier kid. The doctor asked me today if I have irregular facial hair growth, and I told him no, but I do get chin hair, and I do have hair here. It's light, but it is there. And so, full disclosure, which I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I do take a little mini razor and shave my chin. There are quite a few dark spots, and I don't know if that's because I started doing that they're coming in dark or whatever. But anyways, so he said, you do have, weight gain, and it's hard for you to lose weight. You have the acne. So he wanted us to do a vaginal ultrasound, which, like I said, I'm so glad we were able to do right then and there, and to see if I had cysts on my ovaries. So we went in, I laid there, the whole stirrup thing, and she did a vaginal ultrasound, and I was able to see as she was doing it up on the screen, my ovaries, and she said immediately, she was like, yep, you have cysts, and I could see them. And I was like, so can you count them? And she counted to 20 and said that there was a little over 20. She counted 20, but there was still more. So 20 plus. And so I guess I feel like I've always maybe kind of like in my research of infertility kind of wondered if I did have PCOS. My husband, on the other hand, had never heard of PCOS, so it maybe was a little bit more of a shocker to him than it was to me. Excuse me, because I kind of figured, like, I kind of was like in my head like, oh, we kind of have an answer. Like, up until this point, it's always been we have unexplained infertility. Other than my progesterone levels being super low, nobody could really... We had only ever seen one doctor and not done a lot of testing. But up until this point, the testing that we had done, it was unexplained infertility. So now, today, we just found out that I am diagnosed with PCOS, which, for those of you that don't know, is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it does cause... it can make it more difficult for, excuse me, you to conceive. So I mean, it was just kind of nice to just kind of have some sort of answer and some sort of path to go on. Now, his office recommended that I start on some medications for that and maybe even birth control. I don't know if I'm there yet. I like to take more of a natural approach to things, meaning I believe that the body can heal itself. But today I'm also struggling with that I just want to have 10 kids now, right? And I struggle with, do I just take the medications that he wants me to take so that I can get pregnant? But if I do, then I think about, like, I'm all about the natural, so then what will other people think? And I know that it shouldn't matter, but it does to me for some reason in this moment. Like, and I think that I so badly wanted the natural things to work for me. And I feel like I kind of failed at that, right? Or that my body kind of failed at that. And so, yeah, I'm just left with this. I want to research all of the things about PCOS. I have this fire in my butt to just start eating healthy. Like, I try, like, it's a daily struggle because our society is filled with so many yummy things that aren't good for us, right? Or at least, like, it's just not healthy. There's not a lot of healthy fast food options. It's a harder path to go down, a path that's worth it, and I've done it before. But like I said, I'm right now in this moment, I want to consume all the knowledge. Like, I just want to know everything I can about PCOS because that's what I can do right now to help myself heal and get better. And I also want to do research on, like I said, so I don't really know everything that he was talking about, but he wants to put me on metformin, which is a drug that they give to diabetic patients, to help regulate their insulin. Now, they did draw blood today, and he did prescribe it, but told me that I couldn't fill it until these blood test results come back, and I think they're checking my liver to see if I'm insulin resistant. Don't quote me on that, but it's possible that I'm right on that. So with that, he wants me to take birth control to have this month of, like, prepping my body for then next month I would do an HSG test, which tests my to see if make sure my fallopian tubes are open. And then after that, they would move us to IUI, which is artificial insemination. So they would take my husband's sperm and with drugs and ultrasound and all of that, kind of making the best possible scenario go down for us to get pregnant. That wouldn't be until August. So like I said, we're in June right now. But so yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I have relief that we kind of have a path to go on, but then I have this new set of anxieties that a lot of it has to do with judgment from others. That's probably just in my head. And also this feeling of like I failed because the natural thing didn't work. But, you know, this is Brad and mine's journey. And I know that no matter what we decide and which path we choose to go on, that God is right next to us. And he's the one, he's the only one that matters, right? At the end of the day. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just where I'm at, and I needed to share and get this out. And so if you like this, you can keep following these videos as I learn more about PCOS, as I learn more about my body, as I make decisions on whether I'm going to do all of the things that this clinic suggests that we do. Because of my journey, I am more cautious of what I take at face value. I do a lot more research on my own, which I had never done before. Like I think in our society, it's just like doctors have your best, like we assume that doctors have our best interest, and I do believe that most of them do. But I do think that you should make a decision based on not just one person's advice to you or one person's outlook on what's going on, a snapshot of your life, right? Like, you need to make a decision for you, what's best for you and your family, your values, and put in the research. If I have learned anything, it is to put in the research and make a decision because that's what you want to do, and not because somebody tells you that that's what they think the best thing for you is. You make the decision because you've done your research, you've studied it, you came up with it on your own. And that it's so much more empowering to come to a decision that way and feel like stuff isn't being done to you, that you are a participant in all of it. So sorry if it was a little scattered, but like I said, I just have this desire and this passion to share with you my journey in hopes that it helps you and that we can just connect as women and as families on this journey together. Like I said, it does not have to be lonely, and it doesn't have to be even sad all the time. And there can be good things that come from your journey and infertility. Believe it or not, there are good things that can come from it. And I am just so grateful for this platform, to be able to share, for the courage finally to get something out there. And I can't wait to come back and chat with you some more on what I've learned about PCOS and what we find out about our infertility. So thanks, guys.